Hello, everyone, and I'm happy to be at EVA, though I wish I could be there in person with you all. What we are presenting, as it was introduced, a project we did for making tactile, what we were calling Sound Connections tactile support for family engagement in elderly memory care residents. There we go. This paper was came out of a project with grad students for a course designing for senior citizens. The grad students were tasked with exploring what ways creativity, technology could be used for a local elderly community. So they were first tasked with looking at their own communities, their grandparents, other community members, then started looking for potential partners within this immediate civic engagement area. While we will often think of functional tasks when we're doing these kind of design projects, such as fall detection necklaces, keyboards with larger keys, the students found that the technologies specific to senior creativity were less prevalent. And so that's what they started getting interested in. So one of the issues that came up in the course, though, is it was taught in spring 2020, which then everything had to go online halfway through the course. And so that changed a lot of the way the course had to be run. The other problem was that the partner that we had started working with had to go into lockdown. And so that also changed a lot of the design process that we were able to work in. So this has also made it very hard to finish this work, and I will discuss that later, the process that we're going through at this point to get this work actually completed. The students seeked out many different partners, but there was one partner in particular that started getting very enthusiastic about the idea, and especially for their memory care unit. This partner frequently highlighted the importance of context and social connection within the project, and thinking about where their project would be located, who would be engaged in it. And so they started really adding a lot to the project. And so this is how we ended up working with them. So that the care facility that we started working with was really excited about looking at different activities. This is a generic image. We aren't using any pictures from the facility itself, but they were really interested in looking at different activities and what were the activities that we could engage with. One of the things that they kept bringing up was that it was important not just to think of the resident, but of the whole family as the care object, as who we were engaging. That especially in this situation, the residents that were in the process of losing memories, that helping them engage and connect with their family was one of the primary interests of for the client, for the partner within this. So yeah, the facility was very excited about having objects that would support interaction with other people and would provoke memories to initiate conversation between the residents, and either between the residents or with their families. So during the design process, we did look at other projects have been brought into senior residence. One in particular, this one with CEO Copeland Sanjian, and this was a LED greeting card project. But we also looked at things such as jewelry and knitting groups. But when COVID hit, those kind of projects became less possible. And the venue we were working with was really interested and wanted to have an installation that they could have as a continuing project, not just workshops that people came in and did, but they wanted something that became part of the environment that the residents were in. So we started talking about decor on walls and music being played and these other ideas. So the students started looking at making tutorials for helping the residents have Zoom or Skype meetings with their families. They started looking at other tutorials for FaceTime, Duo for recording their own memories. But all these still fell a little bit flat with the idea of teaching, etc. And so we ended up with this idea of quilts that could bring in memory of their ideas of music and experiences. So this slide gives a little bit of background of what the students found and what memory residents are dealing with. Residents in memory care are typically trying to manage symptoms of cognitive decline, such as memory loss, learning impairment, confusion, which can lead to anger, depression, and more importantly, not living and enjoying their normal life anymore as these declines start taking hold. Reconstruction quality of life is an important feature for assisted living. It can include reconstruction levels of interaction and care with residents, programming, social events, all these ideas. But it also, care facilities often search for opportunities to provide new prompts for engaging memory care residents and their visitors to bring back old memories. So this project began with the class exploring how technology could support seniors' creative practice, but soon became this idea of around everyday tools, universal design principles, functioning scenarios as Internet of Things approach home products. We shifted to more of a crafting approach. We did think about doing the crafting with the residents themselves, but during the lockdown, this was not possible. But we did start thinking of the crafting as a way of making the first connection. So started looking at a variety of textures, fabrics, as discussed in importance of tactile engagement. Also, the music was discussed as a very important role in the residents' lives, as a good option for helping them remember stories. There's a large literature about the role of music in memory and in the care of dementia residents as well. Students decided to put the two together, the tactile and the music, and their best option was to create these musical quilts that I'll be showing in a moment. So we worked, the students all worked together to select designs, color palettes, musical choices. These choices were mostly finished before lockdown, but just as we were starting the construction, we all had to break up. That made it very difficult to share materials as things got progressed in the build cycle. These are some of the mood boards that these students came up with, taking the idea of leaves and abstract imagery for their designs. The students then also started looking at different fabrics choices, color choices. Again, this was done in consultation with the residents and the facility, going in and seeing what the design of the decor there was already and seeing what would match. And so this is an image of one of the first mock-ups where we had the different circles having different textures. Each one is a separate switch that can turn on a different sound object. Generally, these are older music tracks. The whole structure is built around a frame, so it can be removed and washed, where the electronics is just lying underneath it. And the whole structure works off of a very small Raspberry Pi for the playing of the sounds. In order to create the nice tactility, we explored a number of different buttons, ways of forming soft buttons that would still remain tactile. The goal was to get something that was soft, reliable, robust, but also responded to the whole area. So these circles are about 4 inches, 5 inches in diameter. So we needed a way of creating something that no matter where you touched it, it would still respond, so that the interaction was maintained. These are some of our first prototypes. The advantage of this prototype, this is a soft substrate between two foils that would create the switch. It was a very easy construction, but we found it wasn't that robust, partly because the size of the connection could be very small, and therefore it had a lot of false positives. So we've gone to a new design, and this is working with a lattice of conductive material. On the right, you see an image of interlaced lines that are conductive. Each second one is connected to a different wire, so that by touching the two together, they become a switch. The foil on top then becomes the way of connecting the two. This has proved to be a lot more robust, but the design, the build time is a lot longer on this design. So this is the final fabrication that we're now in the process of doing. Like I said, the advantages are that this is a lot more robust. A lot more of the material can be soldered. And worked. But the disadvantage is that it's taken a lot more time to create. And at this point, the course is over. So finding the time, getting student volunteers to work on the project is proving to be a lot harder. However, we are still working on getting these to the venue. The venue has still expressed interest in having them up on their walls. So we're hoping to, in the near future, get data on how the design process, the impact of the design process, and if our design ideas have actually worked out the way we expect them to. Thank you.